The News with Ed Schultz, coming up on January 25th, Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern on RT America. That's right. I'm back on the tube. The News with Ed Schultz on RT America. You can find it on Dish and Direct and around the world in 60 countries, and a huge presence on YouTube. I'm looking forward to being back in the game. All right, there was a very interesting piece that was recently written and published in the Washington Post. An op-ed Tuesday by constitutional law professor who asserts that due to his Canadian birth, Senator Ted Cruz is not eligible to be president of the United States. This is Cruz last week defending himself, saying it's all settled.
As a legal matter, the question is quite straightforward and settled law that the child of a U.S. citizen born abroad is a natural-born citizen. People will continue to make political noise about it, but as a legal matter, it's quite straightforward. I would note that it has occurred many times in history. John McCain was born in Panama, but he was a natural-born citizen because his parents were U.S. citizens. George Romney, Mitt's dad, was born in Mexico when his parents were Mormon missionaries, but he was a natural-born citizen because his parents were citizens. And actually, Barry Goldwater was born in Arizona before Arizona was a state, and yet he was a natural-born citizen because his parents were citizenship. There are serious issues facing the American people, serious issues to be decided in this election, and that's where our focus is going to stay.
Okay, so that's Ted Cruz. That's his verbal defense that he is eligible to be president of the United States. Although Professor Mary Bridget McManaman, professor at Widener University, Delaware Law School, writes in the Washington Post, "Let me be clear, I'm not a so-called birther. I am a legal historian." She writes that it's a natural-born citizen. It's a requirement for presidency under the Constitution. Professor McManaman joins us here on Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Professor, I appreciate your time.
My pleasure, Ed.
Break this down for us. Why isn't Ted Cruz across the board eligible to be president, or as you also write, or even vice president of the United States?
Well, the term natural-born citizen, which is the actual requirement to be president or vice president, comes from the English common law, and that is directed to us by the United States Supreme Court. The court says if a common law term is in the Constitution, you look to English common law to find the definition. That common law is very clear. You have to have been born in English territory to be a natural-born citizen, and when it came across the pond, James Madison and other early American framers said, yes, that applies here in the United States. Only here it's you have to be born in U.S. territory to be president of the United States.
So Cruz comes back and says that it's settled law. What's he talking about?
First of all, it's settled what the definition of natural born is, but no one running for the presidency has had to have it officially decided. I'd like to point out that only George Romney, of the three other men that Ted Cruz refers to, is analogous to his situation. The common law definition was that you had to be born in the territory of the U.S., so Barry Goldwater, being born in the territory of Arizona, was eligible. There's a problem with John McCain because of a racist series of opinions in the early 20th century by the Supreme Court, which said that the people born in our unincorporated territories, you know, the ones we got from the Spanish-American War, like the Philippines and Puerto Rico and Guam, because they were, and I'm quoting the Supreme Court, because those people were alien races. They weren't of the American race, whatever that is, and they could not be natural-born citizens. Now, I think John McCain would have had an easy time contending that those cases should be disavowed. But it's George Romney and Ted Cruz who present the problem of being born in non-American territory. And, of course, George Romney, remember once he said that he had been brainwashed by the generals and his candidacy ended very quickly. So the issue was never settled as to him.
All right, to the politics of this on the trail. This is Donald Trump bringing up the issue.
Ted's been really nice until the last couple of days. Ted Cruz. He's been really, really nice. Other than the last couple of days, getting a little testy. I've been waiting. You got a little problem, you know, you got to sort of make sure you can run. You got to make sure you can run. A lot of lawyers say you can't run if you do that. You can't be born in Canada. You can't be a Canadian citizen. Supposing he runs and everybody's banking on him, and then the courts rule that he can't run. That's not so good. What do? Concede the election to Hillary Clinton or to crazy Bernie? Right?
Well, how would this play out, Professor McManaman? How do you see this? I mean, and do you think that this is going to continue to be an issue?
Well, as long as Donald Trump beats the drum, yes, I think it's going to continue to be an issue. Legally speaking, it could come up in a couple of different ways. One might be if a state Secretary of State said to Senator Cruz, we're not putting your name on the ballot, we don't think you're eligible, he might be able to bring a suit. He would certainly have what we call standing, that is, a potential injury. The other might be if one of the other candidates, Senator Rubio or Carly Fiorina, brought a challenge. They would also have what we call standing to sue, claiming that he's, illegible and therefore taking votes away from them.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, Trump says the Democrats would sue. They probably would. It would end up, I guess, at the Supreme Court. And we all know how Alito and Roberts and Scalia and Thomas and the five think. I would imagine, based on their writings of the past, that they might align themselves with a Ted Cruz. And so where would that leave us?
Well, here's the thing. I don't know. I mean, have you noticed that the entire Republican establishment seems to be turning their back on him? Mitch McConnell won't bring a resolution to the Senate, et cetera. So you combine with Scalia's and Thomas's originalist thinking, they might go in a surprising way. But I just can't predict what would happen.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure. Professor McManaman, we'll do it again. Thanks so much. Very interesting piece and a real legal eye-opener to the American people. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Ed.
You bet. This is Ed Schultz News and Commentary. Again, the announcement today, I'm back on TV starting January 25th, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, in prime time on RT America. You'll be able to catch Ed Schultz with the news. It's a wrap-up of the day's news. And, of course, read all the accounts about what the show is going to be all about. I'm really looking forward to it. This global platform on RT America is going to be something to work with. There's no question about it. And I'm looking forward to it. I hope you'll join me. I'm still the same Ed. You can count on that.